I work to preserve and advance the culture. Man, the moment that I fell in love with go-go, I had been probably 7, 8 years old. I got a little transistor radio. It was in the shape of a football, and it only got AM. It was just WOL back in the day. Every night in bed, I would just cut it on real low, and I saw my mom's light go out. Cut it on real low and just be listening, man. And the music, I mean, it just took hold of me. I just fell in love with go-go. Absolutely couldn't articulate it in these words back then, but looking back now, I knew then that that music would be the soundtrack to my life. I went away to college, but I had packed my PA tapes. I had all my PA tapes with me, and I went to a small HBCU in Alabama called Alabama A&M University. I was the only person from DC down there. When I would play my music, they would be like, what are you playing? What is that? You know, but I would just always play it, and it didn't matter. I just felt like I was the coolest. I just felt like they didn't know they didn't know, but that's on them. And I think that's one of the things that go-go help with that, forge that, feeling comfortable being unique. I'm growing into this consciousness, and at the same time, I have this music that's like this raw, guttural version of black folks and black people in DC in particular. I came home, I taught 5th grade for a few years, went to grad school, did some work in the nonprofit space. While I learned a great deal working in education, I always had this burning desire to kind of do my own thing. And so I realized that I could use the music as a springboard to do the work that I wanted to do in education, in the community. It just came together. It came together perfectly. I got connected with Black Alley Band, was able to just leverage the popularity of the band to do things in the community that really matter. I always saw go-go in the same vein as jazz and hip-hop, right? These particular African-American cultural expressions. You don't have to like it, but you have to respect it. I looked at jazz, I saw where there was a House resolution that sort of made jazz like officially an American art form, H.R. 57. I borrowed a lot from the language of that legislation, wrote a draft for go-go for DC. I took it to Councilman Kenny McDuffie, right away, receptive to it, open to it. We said, yes, let's do this. Councilman McDuffie being a native Washingtonian himself, understanding what go-go meant to the city, what Chuck Brown meant to the city. These are our stars, these are our heroes. So in a very short amount of time, we had legislation that made go-go the official music of Washington, D.C. So I was very proud to be a part of that. The Commission on Arts and Humanities was critical in helping me pivot from being a nonprofit executive to a full-time creative. And while people may say, oh, that's cool, yeah, you was the chief operating officer, and that is, I loved having that job. It was meaningful work. It is nowhere near as fulfilling as doing what you feel like you were put on this earth to do, though. Not only doing it, but doing it on my own terms. And the support of the Commission for Arts and Humanities has been critical in helping me do that. Being a native Washingtonian, it just becomes so important for me to be a preserver, right? That's how I characterize my work now. I preserve and advance the music and the culture of native Washingtonians, in particular African Americans. For me, that is critically important work. Change is fine as long as it does not seek to erase what was there before. New trees are always welcome as long as they don't disrespect the roots that were already there.